it's working. See if it's working today. Yeah, it seems to be. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about out of home today and direct mail tracking. That ought to be interesting. So I'm going to do a little rant on direct mail tracking, I have to warn you. So we'll get over there and look at that. But first, let's see about this great outdoor ad campaign done by Maybelline. And if you look here, let's see if I can get it to play without playing. I don't think I can. No. You've got your lashes on your underground train, and it's got your mascara brush right here, and watch how nice it brushes the lashes. Then it brushes a bus, and then there's what looks like a tube of mascara going by as a bus. I think that's in New York. No expense was spared in this making of this outdoor ad campaign. See it brush the lashes, and they wiggle, and there's some lashes near Piccadilly Circus. Look at this. Here goes the bus. New York City. Wow. There it comes again. Watch him wiggle. Oh, how beautiful that is. Okay, so anyway, I read a number of articles in the past couple of weeks about how great this ad campaign was, and how creative the people were. And I just showed it to my wife this morning, and I said, and it's all fake. And she said, well, of course it is. How did she know? I don't know, but she knows stuff. She's really good at knowing stuff. So I'm just going to get this so I know what time it is. And so let's follow up with the drum and see what they have to say about it. Let's go over here. Okay, and here we go. A fake mascara video hoodwinked the public. Is it outdoor advertising? That's an interesting question from John Mundy. Okay. New CGI techniques mean advertisers can fake jaw-dropping experiential scenes from social media. Kudos, John Mundy. Wait a minute. He's giving himself kudos, and he wrote the article. UK commercial director at Sage and Archer likes the work but hopes it doesn't detract from the real power of out-of-home. There was a huge viral impact of out-of-home when done right, and there were all kinds of, I think even Mark Ritson. I was sure Mark Ritson talked about what a great job that was at brand building and how the people at Maybelline were geniuses. I don't think he realized it was fake. I couldn't find it again. I read through about 7 articles. That's why we're 2 minutes late today. What I thought was especially funny, do you really think the TfL, which is Transportation for London, would put massive eyelashes on the Jubilee line? That didn't stop the press from picking up on it. Several gloriously credulous pieces falling for it hook, line, and sinker, together with the obligatory TfL is going to hell comments beneath. No doubt vast quantities of mascara will be sold. Maybelline's excellent marketing team will get a raise, and everyone wins, apart from TfL, of course, which presumably hasn't earned a penny for virtual use of their vehicles. This virtual campaign demonstrated perfectly the huge impact that out-of-home can have. Seeing something unfamiliar, even comical, in a familiar environment catches the eye and sparks the imagination. Even better, when done right, it's something you want to share with your friends. Okay, so how do we classify it? You know, does the little screen on your phone that everybody's watching it on count? You know, what tipped me off actually was in this particular ad with the bus, I didn't see anyone watching the mascara brush, which I thought would have happened if it were going by for me. I would have wanted to watch it go. And no one was gathered watching the bus go by. So I think that's what tipped me off that it wasn't really there. Okay, and we're not able to plant massive physical eyelashes on trains, but having the ability to dynamically tailor creative to location and for particular times of day opens a huge range of possibilities for advertisers. And unlike CGI, these ads are grounded in reality. Well, kinda. They rely on knowledge and data about actual places to directly inform them, making them even more relevant and impactful. Okay, so that was an interesting. And here's verification by Aidan Milan, and it's from the Metro UK, which talks about the people getting upset. The clip earned 60,000 likes on TikTok at the time of writing. Sensational, sky high, lash, sensational, whatever. And this actually tells that the eyeliner is a great product, that it's one of the top rated $12 eyeliners or mascara things. Ian Pajam, I think it is, created the visual content. He's from California. And, is it real or is it fake? Right? It's one of the best budget mascaras out there. Okay, so I want to save the rest of the time for this infogram, they called it, from Mindfire. My friend David Rosendahl over at Mindfire, they do an excellent job on a lot of things and work with a lot of printers. This is not one of them. Different types of mail tracking. So I'm thinking it's going to be about mail tracking, right? And you got to understand, before we even dig into this, mail tracking is something I do know about, right? I remember back in the day when we would print mailing pieces and then we would take them to the mail house. What was the mail house? The mail house was a old warehouse with lots of old machinery that they had their own machine shop to keep the machines running. And it would take computer printouts. We did have computers in those days. This was this was after a dressograph, at least for us. And it would take a 4-up printout of labels on green bar with holes on the sides. And it would cut the green bar into strips. And then it would cut the strips into label-sized address papers. And then it would glue the papers onto the mailing piece. Okay? And hopefully each little piece of paper also had probably an alphanumeric tracking code on it. And so when customers would call in, we would say, the telemarketing center would say, what is the key code on your order, or on the front of your catalog, or on the back of your catalog, or wherever it was. And but we didn't always get them the way we expected. There wasn't always a little mark there. So we learned other ways to track the mailing. And one of the ways I remember for a solo piece, postcard mailing, more or less, or a brochure, was that of course, they're stacked up, big stacks of the printed pieces, right? And we had forgotten to put, sometimes what we would do when we printed them was we'd have a string of numbers, 98765432110, okay, like that, a string of numbers. And as the piece was printing, you take the first batch, let's say you were going to do 5,000 pieces of each of 10 lists, okay, so a 50,000 piece mailing. Okay, after 5,000 go by with all the numbers showing, you take a little eraser on the plate, on the black plate of the printing, on the printing press. Without taking the plate off, you just take an eraser and you erase off the 9, okay? Then the next batch of 5,000 gets 8765431. Then you take and erase the 8. And then when the customer calls in, or you receive the piece in the mail, or the customer brings it into the store to get the spiffy offer that we gave, you would be able to tell from whatever the last number is, which list that was from, or which offer that was making, or whatever it is, but you would be able to tell, right? And so, but sometimes we'd forget. In the rush, there wouldn't be any key code on there. And so one time I remember getting brand new magic markers, really good smell, And going down the sides, you know, you've got a mailing piece like this, and it's laying flat. And so you can go down the sides. You could go down, just slowly go down the sides, let's say in black. Now, if you look at the mailing piece, there's a little black where the marker bled into the card, right? It's only on the edge, but it's also here, bled in. And then you go down in red on the next 5,000. And then you go in green in the next 5,000. Then you go in orange or blue or purple or whatever, or you move around the card, which brings to another way that we did mail tracking, and that was with a drill press. You say, what, a drill press? Sure. And we did these even on order forms, catalogs that we were going to bind in. So you take the 5,000 pieces and you say, oh man, we forgot to put a key code on it. And you take them over to the machine shop, which I mentioned earlier, and you put them on the table and you drill a hole in a certain spot. And in fact, you make a template like this. And when the orders come in, you just look at which hole, which of all the holes was this particular order coming from, and now you know which list it came from based on the hole. Only one hole per mailing piece, but a template that records each list and where the holes were drilled. I hope I'm making a point here that there's a lot of ways that you can track mailing pieces, right? And in fact, a lot of times we would track the mailing piece by the way we folded it, so that the return, the tear off, and this is what I want to order, and there was a little order form, you put your name and stuff on it, and it had to fill in how many you wanted. You know, somebody handed me their mailing piece, and they had a place where the address was, and they had the order form back there. And I said, well, if you changed it and put this there and this there back to back, and you folded it like this, now the address is on the outside and the order form is on the back side. He said, oh, that's why you get the big bucks. Right? There's a lot of things you can do. Also, with our telecenter, we could say, call and ask for Judy. Or we could have different 800 numbers, toll-free numbers. And we could say to offer A, call this number, offer B, call that number. And that's a sort of a precursor to a variety of landing pages where you send them to whichever landing page corresponds to whichever offer. There's a plethora of ways you can track mail, right? So let's get back to this article. Okay, the first one is to know when the mail is delivered. Now, when I was back in my day, you know, back in the early days, there was a service called US Monitor, which I never understood. People would call me up and say, what do you think of US Monitor? US Monitor would allow you to put decoys on your list. So your list has, you know, you rent lists, but you can also put your own friends or neighbors or somebody around the country to make sure that the list, we didn't really use it to make sure the list got delivered. They would say, well, we want to make sure our list got delivered. I said, well, do you get orders? Does the phone start ringing? Oh, yeah. I said, that's enough. What do you need more than that? Plus, that's more statistically valid than 20 addresses or 50 addresses around the country. That doesn't tell you that it got delivered. It kind of does. But you're going to get calls before you get that. That's going to come back, you know, in a week or something, right? So anyway, so I don't even know the point of number one. And in fact, at the end of the article, it says that if you have tracking 2 and 3, number one is pointless, which I agree. Number one is pointless. However, okay, it says you can understand when your mail got delivered and whether it's been engaged with by the recipient. I'm not sure how number one does that, but the Postal Service will give you this one. It's called Informed Visibility, and they will send you, for each piece of mail, they will send you back notification to the printer that the mail has been delivered and is in the mailbox. It's all automated. It's all digital, okay? But it says in this article that though you have confirmation of delivery, this solution does not allow marketers to take any more action, which is not true. At Market Builders down in Arizona, they take this and they say, oh, it got delivered. So at the same day it got delivered, we sent an email because we rented the lists not only with the physical address, but also with the email. And so as soon as we're notified bang, that the mailing piece got delivered, we now trigger the email to the customer or the prospect saying, you might want to check your mailbox. We got this spiffy offer, right? Not only that, but we could also, if we want, it's free. For those of your customers who've subscribed to Informed Delivery, you can actually put a full color rendering of the piece or the interior of the piece with the offer visible that can be clicked on, right? Which allows immediate tracking. These aren't even mentioned. I can't even understand how you could have an article about mail tracking and not have Informed Delivery or Informed Visibility mentioned. It's free. In fact, you can get a postal discount for using it. I'm stunned, okay? But anyway, but it also does not allow for predictive analytics. I have no idea what they're talking about. You know, we pioneered predictive modeling in 1995 with Hudson Bay Company up in Canada and with Cabela's. That was offer based, that was first party data based. It was probably decades ahead of what they're doing now. And you certainly can do predictive analytics with no assistance here, because as I pointed out over and over, direct mail has baked into it trackability, right? We know who got mailed. Why? Because 99% of it gets delivered. There's no point to number one. We know it gets delivered, right? And we know that it gets taken from the mailbox to the decision maker. We know a decision maker looks at it. Not everybody in the household can look at it. There's somebody that has the job of deciding the mail, and it makes them make a decision. And so mail has baked into it a decision. You may not think much of it, but in order to make that decision, there's engagement. Mail, by definition, has engagement from a decision maker, and a decision is made either to buy or to not buy, okay? And that decision is what drives machine learning, because we now have not only the buyers, every medium shows you the buyers, right? You track them back. You don't know what triggered it, and that's the trouble with attribution. But you know, but in mail, you do know, because you can match it back. You can match it directly back to the people who were mailed in the vicinity time-wise of the mailing, okay? But we also know who got mailed, who saw it, who engaged, who touched it, who made a decision not to buy. And that gives you both the label data set of the null and the yes. The yeses and the nos. No other medium gives you the nos. Okay? So I don't know what they're talking about here. This reads like it was written by machine learning, right? Which wastes my time. The second type of mail tracking technology is the use of PQRs. I'm guessing that they made this up. I've never seen it used like that before. Quick turn and relevant, personalized, quick turn and relevant. I guess they made that up. Robust data, strong retargeting, engaged with mail and allowing for personalized targeting and follow-up. Robust. Most marketers are now looking for this technology to quickly help them increase their response rate. What is it? Doesn't say. Okay, but I can tell you something that you can do with QR codes. Okay, because at Market Builders, we developed a technique where we can take multiple mail offers, put them in the same envelope like a Valpak, and track not only which decision maker is looking at them, but also track which item they're looking at. And it can be done in a catalog too. We can track back to the individual item that receives the attention if people want to scan it. Okay. The third one, it allows connection with email, website tracking, social media management, and landing pages. All of those are available on the first. So I don't understand this. I just don't understand this article, and I hope you'll listen to the video. David and Joe and others at Mindfire. This is a sad example. Have a great day. Like and share. Find somebody who knows what they're doing.